And it was a great place to grow up in. It was one of the most ethnically diverse neighborhoods in the entire country. 23 different ethnic groups, including African Americans, lived in this roughly 50-acre parcel of land. And every once in a while, I know a former West Ender would come down and visit here and reminisce about the neighborhood. And almost every corner, you had either a grocery store, a variety store, a butcher shop, or a pharmacy. Now, where I lived up on Grove Street, we had one corner, we had a pharmacy, Fox's Drugstore. Across the street was Gannick's Variety Store. You go across the other side of the street, it was John the Butcher Shop. You go across the other side of the street, it was Quint's Grocery Store. Everything was just handy. Ethnicity, a closeness, a camaraderie, identity. It lost its identity. You can build all kinds of family places over here and modernize them and have glitz and glamour, but it will never take the place of the old West End charm. It changed me. It saddened me. One night I was down on Allen Street in October of 1958 with my foreman. I was working for Diamond Union Rubber Stamp Works at the time. And I look at Brighton Street. And I'm saying, why? What are they doing this for? It was already early in the early stages of the demolition of the West End. The last time I saw any semblance of Bowden and Scully Squares combined was when I came home on leave in the middle of July of 1962 from Fort Dix, New Jersey. When I came back 21 months later, Bowden and Scully Squares, with the exception of what is now Verizon, which was, when I was growing up in the West End, was the old New England Telephone and Telegraph Company building, was gone. It was gone. Like it never existed to begin with. The first time they got lied to was back when they were told that once this neighborhood was taken down, anybody that's being displaced, wanting to come back, may do so through newer and more affordable housing. It was all a big lie. They took it down because of its location. See, back in those days, everything was location, 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 and this fit the bill. It's near as the North Station and the old Boston Garden, the Charles River, the world-famous Massachusetts General Hospital, the theater and financial and business district here in Boston. Now, I grew up in the north suburb of Beacon Hill, up at 32 Grove Street. That's considered part of the West End. We were poor. Yeah, we were poor. My father, during World War II, worked at the Fall River Shipyard. He worked on aircraft carriers. And we wait for him to come home every afternoon from Quincy. We lived at 32 Grove Street up on the hill. If I say to the people, oh, I grew up on Beacon Hill, oh, you grew up with the rich people, I said, no. We grew up in the north suburb of Beacon Hill where the money wasn't, as to oppose to the south of where the money is. We moved out of the West End in June 1st, 1956. We were paying like $39 a month. Those apartments today would be going for over $1,000. Same rodents, different generations of rodents. The museum it's dedicated to the document history of the West End, particularly during the year of the immigrants from approximately 1880 until 1958. In 1958, that was the year that the city of Boston, by eminent domain, seized this roughly 50-acre parcel of land. And they proceeded to tear it down. They destroyed some 35 streets, courtyards, alleyways, and cul-de-sacs. They wiped out some 700 buildings, and they displaced and evicted some 7,000 people. And there's only 4 residential buildings left here in the lower end of the West End. The one at 42 Lomasney Way, which used to be Lowell Street, named after Martin Lomasney, who was the ward boss of this part of town from the 1890s to 1933. And if we had somebody like him around here in the 1950s, maybe the neighborhood could have been saved. Well, once, let me tell you something, people. There was once a vibrant, ethnically diverse neighborhood here, full of life. People getting along with one another, no animosity, no rich or poor people. We all got along. And that was destroyed in the name of urban renewal or slum clearance. They took the neighborhood down to make this area look like a slum. Years before the wrecking ball made its unwanted and unwelcome appearance here, they went around the various streets throughout the entire neighborhood, told the people, don't bother to fix up your houses because they may be taken over by eminent domain. Okay? So the people got scared. They stopped fixing up the outside of the house because they didn't want to throw good money after bad, only to have their property seized and taken over by the city of Boston by eminent domain. So they fixed up on the inside of the houses. And purposely, the Department of Public Works or the Sanitation Department stopped the regular trash collection. And after a period of time elapsed, they would come down and take pictures of the buildings and the streets. And they would send them to City Hall, the State House, and in particular the federal government in Washington, D.C. They'd say, look, pictures do not lie. We've got a slum area here. Just look at the buildings. They're in deplorable condition. They're falling apart. Just look at the streets throughout the entire neighborhood. All you can see is nothing but piles and piles of trash. Their poor neighborhoods were being bulldozed into oblivion to make shopping malls, luxury parking lots, and luxury apartments. If they want the tour, it takes 40 to 45 minutes. And I explained to them in my own words of what the West End was all about, why this West End Museum exists. I will tell you why it exists. It exists to keep alive the neighborhood that is no longer in existence.